Adam Bazalgette here, founder of Scratch Golf Academy. Today, overcoming common golf swing faults and their fixes. We're going to pick two of the most common. That's kind of a bad takeaway where the club gets behind you, and the dreaded over the top. Simple, usable keys. Hope these will help you. So number one, let's look at a good takeaway, or what I would consider a good takeaway. Adam Scott here, a little bit close up. If we look at the design of the club, you don't want to nitpick it too much, but you'd like the club to travel relatively up that plane line. So many golfers getting the club way back here behind them. We'll have a look at that. Also, you'll notice as you look at him, I've done a close-up here because I want you to see his chest and his abs and his arms. Not rigidly, but everything's really working together there, giving him a very repeatable start to the backswing. And a good start to the backswing makes the whole thing a lot easier. Okay, key number one, you have to engage your core a little bit as you start back. We're not talking about lots of movement or turn, just trying to turn on this axis, but picture if I had a heavy bucket, a full bucket of range balls by the handle and I had to move it, I'd feel some engagement here. If you don't get engaged and move a bit, your right arm's going to fold too much and the club's going to go inside, your trail arm. So engage a little bit as you get started. Key number two, this is a lot more natural and easy than you might think. I'm telling you, other great players couldn't do it. All these hundreds of great players couldn't do it if it wasn't. Try this little trick. Put your hands together, leave your glove or lead hand there, and with a little engagement here, just pull back to about rib cage high here, like you were going to smack that hand or smack something on that hand, and you'll feel how there's a natural arc, a natural movement that's in conjunction with your body. It doesn't have to be complicated. There's another one. Let's have a close-up look. Okay, the third thing is this trail wrist really trips people up. People that take the club inside either typically bend it back too much and create a lot of angle here. You don't see that with the top players. We talked about your core and the club staying in front of you initially, or they roll it too much, that sort of thing. So here's what I would want you to feel. I've got a mini club here. You can do it without a club or put a pencil or something in your hand. The basic job of the wrist is to hinge up and down. It's not quite going to work like that though, because as you start to have a bit of an arc here and as this elbow begins to fold a little bit, it will bend. This wrist will bend back on itself just a little bit. It's basically, as I turn, breaking up and down, but with a little backward bend. You'll see some creases in the skin in the back of your wrist. Put the pencil in your hand. I've got a little club here. Again, if I was going to whack this glove hand, no break there, starting to feel a little pressure, but not this way. Not quite up, but just a little bit of pressure back in that wrist there, like so, and you'll start to find that plane nicely. So our next fault, coming over the top. What does that mean exactly? That's Justin Rose on the left, that's an everyday golfer on the right. They're both on a pretty good plane going back. You'll see Justin, as he completes his backswing, his hands rise a bit, but he returns very much into that same angle, the yellow line into that same plane. And many golfers, including this one, come what we call over the top of that plane. That is to say, the club comes out this way. And you could characterize that very frequently with the tendency to take the arms and club and go directly out towards the golf ball rather than that beautiful downward swinging onto the plane before coming towards the back of the ball. Okay, here's the surprise you may find. People that come over the top typically have too much body motion. Now I know you're saying to yourself, wait a second, I've always heard on these golf videos you're supposed to lead with your body on the downswing. That's true, but what happens to people, they get too much lunging at the ball, especially with their upper body and chest where their arms are connected. And what happens is the body pulls the club forward. So what are you trying to do with your body? You're trying to use it, and I'll show you in just a moment, to deliver speed, to transfer energy from you out to the club head sooner than what you're probably doing if you're coming over the top. Starts with a good mental picture of impact. Let's have a quick look at that. Then we'll show you how to get this transfer of energy from you to the club. So the mental picture, it may seem obvious enough. We're trying to put pressure on the back of the ball so that it goes forward. There's loft built into the club, obviously, so it goes in the air. We are not just trying to hit or hit down at the ball. Take your putter. This is what I recommend for you. And get somewhat of a golf setup. It'll sit back on its heel so the toes up a bit, but just make some small swings, and in your mind's eye, how would you hit this ball if you had to move it 50 yards along a gigantic green? I promise you, most people instinctively with no coaching wouldn't come down and get the ball bouncing like that. They just wouldn't do it. So the clear mental picture is the golf club needs to come from the side of your body along the ground to the back of the ball. Now we're ready to really work on it. So now that you've got a reasonable mental picture, here's what you're trying to achieve. If I have this impact bag or whatever you want to picture there like that, if I had to take this stick and pop that thing like that, which is effectively what I'm trying to do to the ball, I certainly wouldn't do that, that's for sure. I need to start with this. I need to engage that, like skipping a rock there. But just a little bump of movement, and that energy should go right to that golf club, and you'll find it's so much easier to stay on plane. You start muscling it and doing all this, number one, you'll get off plane. Number two, you won't create that much speed. So if I throw that aside for just a second here, get yourself a short iron. I've got an 8-iron here. Let's get in here and make a small backswing. I'm not trying to kill it, but I'm trying to feel that nice little engagement and tightening there, and the pop of the golf club. That's the sort of feel we're looking for. Now, there's a big pitfall that robs people of being able to master this. Look at that in the final segment coming just up, but let's have a quick look from here. Now, if you haven't done this before, one of the sensations in addition to this movement, and this would involve some weight transfer certainly and some rotation, but it's mostly engagement here to get to the, one of the sensations you'll find is that your trail arm, though nice and bent and athletic here, will snap straighter than what you're used to. Most of the time over the toppers, arms are bent, body's too active, look all crumpled up through the ball. So let's pop that out of the way. And when you hit these little shots, and you're working on this, make sure that's out of your way there, you should start to notice two things that happen. Number one, your arms get past your legs. They don't come in here behind you or this way. And number two, they'll get nice and long as you go through there. That's because energy's transferring out there. Let's get straight in front of the camera. That's the sort of feeling you want. Get that energy there. You'll really, really find this easy. Let's look at that pitfall. If you like this video, by the way, I hope you'll consider subscribing to this channel. Hit the bell there also, you'll be notified when we have fresh videos coming your way. Okay, what's the big pitfall? That is this. Golfers that come over the top generally are not very good at squaring the face. It's part of that package. When they come this way, the face is open, the ball tends to curve to the right. They'll pull it once in a while, but not that often. And if you start swinging with some speed and some energy in here and you're not good at squaring the face, you may hit it harder, but you'll hit it worse. That ball's going to go over there too much, and it's a natural override that people have to get the ball online and in front of them. And again, if you're not good at squaring the face, you'll just start coming over the top again to help yourself. So check your grip for sure. Not going to get into that in a lot of detail here. We have several grip videos at this channel if you want to look those up, but suffice it to say the lead hand needs to be down in the fingers enough and wrapped over enough that you can tilt the face pretty easily. And here's the other thing, you have got to tilt that face. What I mean by tilt the face, close the face, you have got to do that sooner than what you're used to. So as you're coming down, I'm talking back here, you have to start to feel that thing shutting down a little bit. It can be done within the pop with energy, but it has to happen soon. It has to happen a lot. I'm going to recommend to you, if you're working on this, because you're probably still going to come slightly over the top for a wee while, if 80% of your misses on over to the left, you need to really work on that club face, okay? So if you can get that club face square and you can transfer the energy, I'm telling you, you can lick this over the top thing. You can do it. I want to encourage you. Thanks for watching.